Now, super chickens. The Australian poultry industry is worth almost $6 billion a year. So insatiable is our appetite for the family favourite, growing methods have changed dramatically just to keep up with it. Claire Brady reports chicken producers are pushing to get them from the egg to the plate as quickly as possible.
They look like mature chickens, but listen. They cheep like baby chicks. Look a little closer and their eyes are still baby blue, just like a baby chick's. That's because that's what they are, just 5 weeks old but bred to grow twice the normal rate.
It's quite heavy there, you can feel that, and that's all squishing around her heart and her lungs and makes it hard to breathe.
Whereas this is what she should look like, this size.
That's right.
These chickens are the same age, but you'd never know. Both 5 months old. The white one has been selectively bred to grow faster than nature intended. The commercial ambition is so it's bigger for our plates. Broiler chickens, the ones we commonly eat, are now raised and slaughtered in half the time they were 50 years ago. But they're twice as big. White meat is so popular these chickens are pushed to have bigger breasts. They are the results of decades of selective breeding, explains Dr. Andreas Dubbs, head of the Australian Chicken Meat Federation.
We select the birds that show the best characteristics that we wish to have, and then we breed from those birds.
It goes further than that. Nowadays, the toughest are also selected and bred, those chickens less prone to disease.
Thinking of agriculture without selective breeding is almost impossible. But if we assume it for a moment, we would really have very scrawny little chickens that eat a lot of food and produce very little meat. So it would use a lot of land, a lot of feed, and demand just wouldn't be met.
Selective breeding with this huge muscle mass puts an enormous toll on these young birds' skeletal systems, where their heart and lungs have struggled to cope, pumping around with this incredible muscle mass.
Pam Ahern runs Edgar's Mission, a sanctuary for animals otherwise on death row. Selectively bred chickens are her sad challenge. She can never reverse what's already been done.
And we see health problems result, respiratory problems, mobility problems, skeletal problems. It's just terrible.
Some of the selectively bred chickens grow so fast their little hearts can't cope. They drop dead from heart attacks.
If we put it in human terms, how much are we pushing these bodies to grow? I mean, if you can equate it to, say, a toddler.
Well, if a human baby was to grow at this rate, you'd be looking at a 2-year-old weighing around 158 kilos.
158 kilos?
Yeah, it's incredible.
That's huge.
Around 38,500 of these meat chickens die a week because of health-related issues. These are issues that are brought on these birds because of what we have bred into them.
It's a mammoth market, making $5.9 billion a year, growing annually at a rate of almost 2%.
Every day there are 100 million birds in Australia on the ground. Now, of those 100 million birds, clearly not every one will be healthy and optimal.
Dr. Dubbs simplifies the benefits of selective breeding on our wallets.
Essentially, the price of chicken would be horrendous. If we look at today's price, it's about a quarter of what it was in 1960. So today's chicken, whole chicken for $10 would cost $40.
Lynn White is from Animals Australia. She believes 1 million chickens are slaughtered every day in Australia for food.
The downside for chickens is huge. I mean, this is the biggest animal welfare disaster in Australia and around the world.
Pam calls this chicken Ginger. It's an average chicken, not selectively bred, and the normal size of a 5-month-old.
So almost 1.6 kilos.
Yeah.
This one is selectively bred and the same age.
3.6, so she's a complete 2 kilos heavier.
Enter Petal. Just 5 weeks old, it's ballooned at such a rate she can barely stand up.
So she's still half a kilo heavier than
right.
Something that's 4 months older than her.
That's right, yeah.
That's not normal, is it?
No, it's not normal, it's not natural, and it's not kind.
In some countries, selective breeding is even incorporating the featherless chicken into the broiler strain. Without feathers, the bird uses less energy to cool itself down and so can use that stored energy to grow bigger than ever before. Even free-range chickens are bred using selective breeding methods. Dr. Dubs concedes that even after 50 years of selective breeding, tweaking the breed is an ongoing process to perfection.
Chickens certainly can have heart attacks just like humans. One of the aims of selective breeding is to prevent that sort of development, but nothing is perfect.
You cannot mess with nature without having significant repercussions.
It just breaks my heart to think what we have done to these animals. Right from the start, they've got no chance.